Guys, so we're at the stage that we sanded it down. That's what we want it to look like. Now we're putting in the scales. So what we got here is a bit that I cut out to this somewhat of this. I guess you could say the shape of what they're supposed to be. They're just basically like a star or a square or a rectangle. And what you want to do is you want to get them pretty close to each other. Then you can lightly sand that after, and then we'll burn it with the torch. So I can't hold the camera and do this at the same time, so I'll try to set up the tripod. All right. Back to the tapping. I said I would get my tripod up, but instead I got my favorite camera girl. So here's the bit we're using, the tapping bit. It's just basically like a diamond or I guess, yeah, more of a diamond, like a square. So you can see that what usually takes me about 3 weeks to do by burning, I have accomplished most of it, 90% of it, with the thing. So I'll show you the process. Now there's not really much of a pattern going on here. What you got to make sure is you got a lot of light. And then what I have it is I have it set so that I can put my fingers on the triangle part, the more tip part, so that it adds in there. And all I'm gonna do is put it here and hope I don't whack my finger a couple times like I already did. And then I'm just gonna tap them in. So you can see the process is a lot faster than when I was burning. And you just kind of line it up. You can tell how you're lining it up, that they're pretty close. Even if you miss a spot, it's no big deal because we're going to be sanding a bit anyway. And with this tapping bit, it's easy to turn it if you have to, or if you accidentally do it, and it's not really going to make that much of a difference. So we'll just do a couple more here. Now, as hard as, if you're going to do this, try to get a small hammer. Big one will hit too hard. And you're just giving it like a tapping motion so you can see the indentation going on. Now, if you can't see it, you can always go back on it and hit it a little bit harder. And like I said, sometimes we will be sanding down a good portion of it just to get some of the ugliness off. I had a little bit of a rot piece here, so it went through, you could see. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fill that in and then just sand over it lightly, and that'll work perfectly. So, and then we'll edit that piece out or keep it in as over. So yeah, that's the only bad thing about it, is you can hit your finger good. Here you can see it's a lot darker, so it's harder to see, and it's harder to follow a pattern. So my camera girl's laughing at me. That kind of hurt. And that happens when you're tapping. I've hit my finger numerous times. And I think one of the biggest things is to make sure you have something that's solid. Like I have the Jaw Horse, which keeps it in place really solid, where I could move it. I could turn it around very simply, put it back in, tighten it, hit the button, and I'm ready to go. So let's keep on doing a couple more, like we said. And what I'm doing here on the edges is I'm trying to get it as much into the roundness, so you can tell where the stick is and where the snake is. So like I said, what used to take me, like, I would say almost a week of burning, and the smell I didn't care for, I can do it now in, this would be about an hour and a half at the most, minus the fact that I hit my thumb all the time. But yeah, that's just part of the game. So you can see, and then you can see where I can go in between, not too close, in between, and then I could set it up so that they do match up. that. I keep on hitting myself. And then we'll go all the way to the end. All right? Me. So keep on watching, and we'll continue, and then we'll go to the sanding part.